Being raised up from a very dysfunctional background or family can take a toll on the way you see life, your mentality, the way you move and interact with your environment. It can definitely give you a different perception of life, which might turn out to become your ideal reality instead of the way life is meant to be in its purest form. So you might have, what I'm trying to say is, you might have a distorted perspective about life in general, and you start seeing life differently. And because of the fact that you are always in a survival mode every single time, so you can't just leave that survival instinct and switch to a normal free mode where you can freely express yourself and see life clearly. But instead, you are always seeing life from a distorted perspective, a distorted view. And that can always be a very big stumbling block for the individual or the person. And over time, when you now realize that there is a need for a change, for a metamorphosis to actually occur that would lead in that transformative process where you move from being a caterpillar to becoming a flying butterfly, you would start to realize that there is certain requirements that would be needed, especially when the burden of that survival mode becomes overbearing and it's something that you just don't like anymore. You can't take it anymore. But some people would perish there because they feel like that's where they find solace and comfort. But some people would be like, no, I am done with this type of lifestyle. I want to evolve. When you get to that point where that metamorphosis starts taking place, you now realize that there is a word, there's a word called freedom. Freedom, and it starts from within. It starts from a search, a different pursuit, a different drive, where you believe expression, self expression is very important, where you know that you need to be free from all those limiting beliefs that have held you back for so long. And that is where you start to change or evolve. I would rather prefer the word evolve. That's where you start to evolve, and over time, there's an awakening, and you start seeing things gradually for what they actually are, and not from a distorted perception of reality. And when you wake up, knowing the fact that there is a place called freedom, there is a state of mind called freedom, that you have to embrace it totally, then you start working towards it. For me personally, it has been trying to evolve and do a lot of things I had to do, from soul searching, finding God. Because one thing is, if you really want to understand what real freedom is, you have to connect with God first. You have to connect with God. You have to. And in so doing, when you connect, there is an opening, there is an awakening as well that happens. And you realize that this journey is a personal journey that requires you to be deliberate about every step that you take. And it's a call, is a call to who you actually are, to your purpose. And when you now realize it and start taking those steps, losing yourself from the grip of fear, from the grip of rejection, from the grip of insecurities, the insecurities you have carried from your childhood to your adulthood, then when you now realize that all these things, all these chains you have to let them go. You have to drop them. You have to be free from them. You have to be free from the snare. You have to be free from the traps that have left you in the dark. Then you start taking the necessary actions, which I said earlier. You must have to find God. God must be connected in your journey to freedom. God must be connected, whether you like it or not. If you really want true freedom, genuine freedom, that is authentic, that is not manipulative, that is instructive, and that is not destructive, then you have to follow God. You have to find God. You have to interact with God to be able to connect with the divine purpose you have as a person. And that's where freedom begins. Because in God, you find the confidence to make those moves, even when the days are very discouraging and it seems like nothing can actually come out of the situation. But in so doing, understanding that you have attached yourself to the source of life, in so doing, you start embracing a lot of ideologies that God would present to you, and you start walking that walk of freedom. Freedom starts from within. And that fear you used to have, you realize it's nothing. Those insecurities you used to have, you realize it's rubbish. That is vain. It's vain. It's just that you are attached to it. Then you now start understanding the concepts of detachment that God has called you to. Then you start detaching yourself from the material things of life. Then you start understanding the real essence of why you are called. And you now realize this is a consecration. This is a baptism, different form of baptism that requires what is the word? What is the word? That requires your effort as well. It requires your effort. Well, it's not effort is the word, but if I remember, I would talk about it as well. And then you realize that it's a journey. It's a journey, it's a marathon, not a sprint. The journey to freedom is one of those things that most people are not they don't realize that it takes time. They want a quick fix and not realizing that the damage that has happened took years, and it will take some deliberate actions from you to free yourself, to allow God to free you from those limiting beliefs. It's tough, but you must understand one thing at the end of the day: freedom starts from within, and you have to walk that walk alone, because you are brought to this world alone and you will die alone one day. So on the path to freedom, you would walk that walk alone. There's a place of detachment and there's a place of mastery as well. There are schools of thoughts you would embrace, so you understand freedom at its finest form. So guys, I hope you picked one or two things. I've just kind of thought of the topic and the notion of what it means, because I'm a man existing in freedom right now, even though it looks like everywhere is like a wilderness, but I'm existing in freedom, mentally, physically, spiritually. So it's my desire that at the end of the day you step into freedom as well. You step into freedom. So guys, thank you for your time. Have a great day and stay blessed. See you in the next video, and we'll yap and yap and yap and yap and yap. So thank you guys for your time. Bye.